Network traffic will increase up first. Second problem is server cannot hold all the people at a time now. Yes or not? Server cannot hold all the people at a time now. See, for example, there is a function going on, some marriage or something, some function going on, and there is a lunch or a dinner arranged for people. 1,000 guests has visited, and lunch or dinner has been arranged for the people. Are you clear or not? So there are nearly 1,000 guests, and lunch or dinner has been arranged for all these people now. Okay. Now see, we have buffet. They have just arranged a buffet lunch, and there are 4 counters. 4 counters. 4 different counters are there to accommodate all the 1,000 people now. Now, 10 people went to a counter. 10 people went to one counter, served the food, stood there and started eating the food now. Stood there and started eating the food. They are not moving. Stood there and started eating the food now. Are you clear? What happens? What about the remaining people? The remaining people has to wait until they complete it. Suppose these people has taken 15 minutes to complete their food. They left. Another 10 people came now, stood there eating the food now. Understood? So for every 1 hour, you are able to serve 40 people. 4 counters you have, 160 people you are able to serve for 1 hour. How many people are there? 1,000 people are there. How many hours it will take now? 5 to 6 hours now. You start a dinner at 7 o'clock. Until 12 o'clock, the dinner function will go on now. Yes or not? That's not the right way now. What the process? Come to the counter, take your food, leave the place, come again. You come again. You have the place to come again. But now don't stand here. You just serve the food, leave. So leave the space for other people. Yes or not? This is also same concept only. What's it? If all people at a time connects up to the server becomes busy now. Cannot serve. I will open my banking website and I'll do my transactions for 10 or 15 minutes. Until then, other people cannot wait for me now. Yes or not? That is why, come on, you came to the server now, got your response now. Come again. I'll connect up. I'll disconnect off. Are you getting me? Means you're using the lines effectively. You're using the connection lines effectively. Did you get my point? So web applications are connectionless. Don't forget this one. Once the response comes to browser, immediately the connection between the server and the browser will be cut off. Okay? Is this point clear? Means I don't have a continuous connection or a permanent connection with the server. Now the question is, how can the server recognize this session belongs to me now? I'm not having a permanent connection now. Correct or not? I went, session created, disconnected now. Again I go, should give me back my old session. Am I right? How does the server know which session belongs to which user? Are you clear? Whenever a session is created on the server, it is going to have a unique ID. Every session will be having a unique ID called as session ID. Understood? That session ID is given to the client. I connected to server. Session is created. And now a session ID is given to me now. That session ID will come and sit on my computer in the form of a in-memory cookie. That session ID is stored on my computer in the form of a in-memory cookie. Are you clear? Now when you click on the login page is submitted to server, I got the home page now. Connection is cut off, but the session ID is in my browser in the form of a cookie now. Now I clicked on a funds transfer page now. When I clicked on the funds transfer, again I'll connect to server now. When I connect to the server, yesterday I explained, you remember, all these cookies will go to server now. Server reads the cookie now, finds the session ID and links you with your session. Links you with your session. Sir, if session ID is missing, you will go to login page. That's all. Session ID is missing. What will happen? Go to login page. Enter the user ID password again. Understood my point here? If the session is missing, means you are not a valid user. So every time you need to carry the session ID. See, you join in the institute here. You joined in the organization. And you people, it's not only like a .NET. We have so many courses that are being conducted. And how you are recognized you belongs to which course? You have an ID card. You have an ID card and the ID card contains the details now. So whenever you show the ID card, you are sent to the appropriate, or you go to malls for watching a movie. There are 5 or 6 auditoriums there. And you see all will be in the same floor. Yes or not? So which one are you going to be going? Your ticket contains the screen number. Your ticket contains your screen number. So you're sent to the appropriate auditorium now. So it's also same. You have a ID. Where is that ID? The ID is in the browser in the form of a cookie. Once closed, the cookie is lost. Once closed, the cookie is lost. But that cookie should be taken back to the server, and then only the server will identify, okay, this belongs to this user. Is it clear or not? Okay, you can read it. Whenever a session is created for a user, it is given with a unique ID known as session ID. And this session ID is written to client's browser in the form of, so whenever the client comes back to the server in the next request, server will read the cookie, takes the session ID and associate user with his exact session. It is going to link up you with your session. Because session ID is stored in the client browser in the form of in-memory cookie, other tabs under the browser instance can also access the session. There is a new instance of a new browser cannot access the session. What is that, sir? What is that is? Listen, guys, what I'm trying to tell is, suppose, let me run this. I'm calling index 10, launching. Clearer, na? Okay. Now, if I click on this, where it goes? Display. But without clicking on that, I'm opening a new tab. And typing the address of display 2. Are you clearer? I did not click on the link. Directly I came here. Accessible. Yes. Why? Your session ID is present in the browser's memory now. You entered the URL. Session ID went to server. Automatically data came back. Are you clear? I'm working with Microsoft Edge browser. You open another instance of the Edge, not another tab, another instance of the Edge. And try. You will get. Why all of them are going to share the same memory now? Hey, this is same make, same company. Are you clear? Now I will open Google Chrome. I'll open Google Chrome. Not accessible. Why? Open a new browser. Simple, understand. Right. 2 applications won't share same memory. But 2 instances of the same application can share the same memory. But 2 applications cannot share that is one company. This is one company. They don't share the data. Am I right or not? Tomorrow, you just open on my computer, you open Google Chrome and you are just using your banking now. Okay. And now on another tab, I open Internet Explorer or something. And if I can access your data, what will happen now? Danger or not? That's why you can't. You're considered like a new user. Okay. So that's what, read that point carefully. What's it telling you? Sorry, guys. Because session ID is stored on client browser in the form of a other tabs under the browser instance can also access the session. Whereas a new instance of a new browser cannot access the session. You cannot access the session. New instance of the new browser cannot access the session in this context. That is one of the most important point you all should remember. Am I clearer? Yes or not? Okay, fine. Now we are connectionless. There is no connection. And once the response comes to the browser, the connection between the server and the browser is cut off. Correct or not? If the browser is now the client closed off the browser. Now client closed off the browser. There is no connection between the browser and the server. Am I right? When the client closes the browser, server don't know that now. Come on, tell me. Server knows that, huh? Server don't know. Why? Connectionless. Connectionless. Browser closed. Server don't know. What server don't know? Client closed off the browser. Client closed off the browser. Server is not known. Yes or not? Then what about my session there? My session is created and kept like this. Like this. 100, 200 people, everyone is creating a session, closing the browser, going away. All the sessions are getting created on the server. After some time, you will be running out of memory. After some time, you will be running out of memory space now. Happens or not happen? It's going to happen. How to resolve this? How to resolve this? That's what I said to you. For that, every session has a timeout. Every session has a timeout. If the session on the server is left idle for 20 minutes, if the session on the server is left out idle for 20 minutes, the session is destroyed on the server. Are you clearer or not? You're not coming back now. How much time it will take for you? 20 minutes. In 20 minutes, you come back, fine. You're valid. You can continue. You did not come back in 20 minutes. Your session is destroyed. After 20 minutes, you come back to server. Is your session available? Not available now? Go to login page then. Go to login page, apply the credentials, come back again. You cannot continue the process like this. Is it clear? And the default timeout is 20 minutes and this can be altered. This can be altered. Okay. So have a look, guys. What happens to session with session associated with clients if the session if the client closes the browser? If the client closes the browser, what is going to happen? Okay, so watch, guys. What is going to happen? Every session will be having a timeout period of 20 minutes default. From the last request, sliding expiration. Understand here. Two words you need to understand here. Absolute expiration, sliding expiration. What is absolute expiration? You have taken an article for rent. You've taken an article for rent for 1 hour. Okay. And you've taken the article for rent at 11 a.m. 11 or 10 a.m. 10 a.m. you taken the article. By 11 a.m. your time is over. Yes or not? No, I did not use it. That is your problem. You've taken the rent for 1 hour. 10 o'clock I given to you. 11 o'clock the time is expired. And you did not use means I cannot help you. This is called as absolute expiration. This is called as absolute expiration. Second thing is sliding expiration. What is sliding expiration? Sliding expiration in the sense it will count not from time to time. It will count from last visit. What is that? 10 o'clock my session is created on the server. 10:15 I revisited. 10:15 I revisited. Is my server active? From there your timer changes to 20 minutes from 10:15 now. 10:30 I revisited. My clock is reset. Again 0. Now it is active until 10:50. 10:51 I visited. my session explained. Did you understand what is sliding? Sliding means from the last visit. Absolute means first visit. From the first visit. And this is not absolute. This is sliding expression. Are you clear? So within 20 minutes, if the session is not used by the user, server will destroy that session. Am I clear, guys? Okay, that's what. We can change the default timeout period. We can change the default timeout period of 20 minutes to our required time. And this can be done through the file web.config. Remember, you will have a file here called as web.config. In every project, you'll be finding a file here called as web.config. So it's called web.config file. And you guys, you can just use this web.config file. And in the web.config file, you can make the modification. You can set the time period, not the modification. You can set the time period. Basically, what is the use of the web.config file is two scenarios. These config files are used, not web.config, config files. Some of you people already learned in your ASP.NET classes. Some of you people who completed ADO.NET also learned. Who are pursuing C# now don't know about the config files, but just let me give you a gist of this particular config file. What is the config file? As the name indicates, it's a configuration file. As the name indicates, it is a configuration file. Using this, we'll be configuring our website. Using this, we'll be configuring our website. What configure? For my website, my session time period is 20 minutes. Correct? But in my website, I want my session timeout is 10 minutes only. Are you clear? By default, for every website, that session timeout is 20 minutes. But in my site, I want only 5 minutes. Did you catch my point? In my site, I want only 5 minutes, not 20 minutes. That is what I'm configuring my site according to my requirements now. Did you understand my point? And it is a XML file. The data will be present in text format. And you already know text is platform independent. Text is faster in transportation. Text occupies the least space in the memory. We learned about all the benefits of the text in the initial classes of our MVC. Yes or not? It's a text file. So the advantage is tomorrow, when the site is running also, you can make modifications. Did you catch my point or not? If I make any modifications in the CS file, you need to rebuild the project and rehost the project on the server. Rebuild, reinstall or rehost it back now. But what is the advantage with config? You know, today your timeout is 5 minutes. Tomorrow your company thought like, let us increase to 10 minutes. I don't require to stop the site. I don't require to stop the site or do anything. Just I can edit the config file and I can make a modification of 5 to 10 and immediately the changes will be affected for you for the site. No need to rehost, no need to reinstall. Nothing is required. Without anything, you can update of your site now. Did you catch my point or not? That is the advantage with the config files. So that's why every project will have this config file. The name is web.config for web applications and app.config for desktop applications. All of you who are learning desktop applications, go open your Visual Studio and see the Solution Explorer. You'll be finding app.config in the project. Check it out. Same way here in the web applications, what we find? Web.config. But web.config, app.config, everything is same. Simply calling configuration file. That's all. Is it clear, man? Yes or not? You can. So I can do my configurations. Okay. I actually in this file, the data is arranged in different sections. App settings, system.web, runtime, system.code.dom. Different sections are there. I'll explain about each and every section situationally. Now we're talking about system.web. That section is for purely our website settings. That section is purely for our website settings. So go here. By default, you'll be finding some information there. Compile, debug is equals to target framework, the runtime framework, all the information you'll find here. And now here you can add what you know, watch it guys. There is then tag called as session state. Timeout is equals to, I'm setting the timeout as 1 minute. Are you guys clear? So the timeout is 1 minute. Okay. Okay. Home. Index 10, I'm calling. Index 3 is launching. Refresh, you keep on refreshing. The data is loaded or not. Let us do the same thing after 1 minute. Let us do the same refresh after 1 minute. You won't have the data. Why? 1 minute completed, session expired. And once the session expired, you can't access it anymore. After 1 minute, we'll refresh this and watch it again, and the data should not come back. Is it clear? Now, anytime you refresh, you will get it. Okay, now I'm again refreshing. No props. My timer reset now. Now you need to calculate 1 minute from now. Are you clear? So for my last request, so I'm refreshing. I'm keeping on refreshing. Okay, leave it like this. After 1 minute again, we'll try. Are you guys clear? You can set up the timeout according to 5 minutes, your choice, whatever you want. Okay. Well, the next question will be, sir, this is fine, but can I kill my session explicitly? Can I destroy the session explicitly? That implicit restriction now. Or after timeout, implicitly happening. Can I do that explicitly? Yeah, you can do. You have a sign out button for your page, when you click on sign out or log out, what happens? Your session is destroyed actually. When you click on sign out or log out, your session is destroyed actually. How, sir? There is a method called abandon. There's a method called as abandon. You can call that method session.abandon. And once you call session.abandon, your session is going to be destroyed off. Are you guys clearer or not? Okay. Can we explicitly destroy a session associated with a user? Yes. This can be performed by calling abandon method on the session. And this is what we generally do under sign out or log out options in a website or web application. What to do? Session.abandon. Once you call session.abandon, automatically that is going to be destroyed. Guys, hope that 1 minute is completed. Let us refresh once. Session destroyed on the server. All the values are lost. Is it clear? So you can explicitly do this also by calling. You click log out. Session.abandon is called and session is destroyed in the next. Okay. Next. Where will web server store session values? Where will web server store session values? Okay. Yeah. Web server can store session values in 3 different locations actually. Web server can store the session values in 3 different locations actually. What are the 3 different locations? First one called as in-proc, state server, SQL server. So I repeat guys, web server can store you the session values in 3 different locations. One is in-proc, second one is state server, third one is SQL server. So what is in-proc, what is state server, and what is SQL server? In-proc. What is in-proc? In-proc means the session values are stored under the IS worker process memory. In-proc means the session values are stored under IS worker process memory. Now we'll ask now, Sir, what is IES worker process? What is IES worker process? That's a big question. What will be in the mind? What is IES worker process? Okay, I'll tell you. Guys, basically, you'll be running your application on a web server tomorrow. For testing, we are running on IES Express. But going forward in the production, we don't use IES Express. What we use? IES, local IES. What we use? Local IES or remote IES. IES is what we use, not IES Express. Are you clearer or not? Okay, fine. And to work with IES Express, to work with IES, we just came across a window INET MGR. What do we call? IES Manager here. IES Manager. It's called as IES Manager. Yeah. And here, suppose my application is now running on IES Express, but can I host it into it? Create virtual directory. When I create virtual directory, what happens? That will come now and add under as an application. Yes or not? Already we tried this last week. The last week I already shown you. What do you have? MVC test project 1, I have just shown you hosting directly in the IES from your studio. And before that, I already explained you how to create your own applications, how to create your own sites. All these things I explained you. Yes or not? Okay. Now, a new thing I'm telling you here, concentrate. A very, very important topic when you're working with IES. What is it? Look at this server on the left-hand side. Under that, we have sites. Above the sites, you'll find one more thing called as application pools. Above the site, you'll find application pools. What is an application pool? An application pool is a container of web applications. I repeat, guys, an application pool is a container of web applications. Did you understand me or not? It's a container of web applications. For example, if you look at here, when I select these application pools, on the right side, it will show you the application pools what are available. Whenever you create whenever you install IES, do you have a default website? Tell me. Same way, there is a default application pool also. What is the name? See? By default, when you have IES installed on your machine, default website will be available here. Default app pool also will be available. And this default website runs under that app pool. What is an app pool? I said you, container of one or more web applications. One or more web applications. Did you catch my point? Right now, this default website is running under default app pool. Are you clearer or not? Understood? Okay. Just a second. Under default website, you have MVC application. They all stubs we created now. So now can you tell me how many applications are there here totally? Array, here, default website. I'm talking about default website. How many applications are there? One is the default website. Second one, third one, site one. Total 3. Total 3. Can you see the number of applications running now? How many? There are 3 applications running. Okay. Sir, what about site 2? Actually, this only I'm telling you. I said you virtual directories and applications, remember? And I said you virtual directories are outdated here. Today, what we have? Virtual directories will not have application pools. Virtual directories will not have application pool. That's why we are not counting the virtual directories. What we require to count is only applications and the sites. This is the site 1. Under that, is one application. This is one application. Totally three. Are you clearer or not? Understood, all of you? Suppose now, if I host this project, which project? An IES now. So now there will be 4. Shall we see that? Come on. I want to host an IES now. If you want to host an IES, first close the studio, open it in administrator mode, then only you can do. Yes or not? Yesterday or tomorrow, someone asked this question in the class also. So I'm facing this error. The error is you are not running the studio in administrator mode. If you don't run the studio in administrator mode, you will get this error. Clear or not? So close the studio, reopen the studio in admin mode, right click, run as administrator. Okay, run as administrator. Now open your project. What is project? MVC data transfer. Go to Solution Explorer. Right click on the project properties. Select properties. A window opens. Now in the left hand side, select web. Now on the right hand side, go to servers, local IIS, create virtual directory. Create it. Okay, come on, let us come to here. Refresh the default website once. Refresh. Right? It's not still refreshed. Just a minute. Taking time, that's all. No refresh. Huh? Clear or not? Understood? So, a website and applications under the website also will be running under this application. Are you clearer or not? Okay, there can be one or more applications running under an application pool. So don't forget, application pool is just a container. What is it? Container of web applications. Are you clearer or not? Okay, well, now the second point, understand what you can also create your own application pool. Just like you created a site, you can create application pools also now. How, sir? How did you create a site, man? Right click and create a site. Same way, right click on application pool, add application pool. Give a name for your pool now. Okay, give a name for your pool. Any name you like. No props, guys. Just a minute. Let me check what name I used in the notes. We'll try the same name. My pool. I given the name as my pool. Is it clear? Just enter the name, click OK. My 0 applications. Are you clear? Sir, you created your own pool, but what is the use of it? I'll tell you. You created a pool now. Now you can run your applications in the pool you want now. What do you mean? By default, my MVC data transfer is running under default tab pool. No, I don't want. Where do you want to run? I want to run under my pool. I want to run under my pool. I want to run under my pool. Possible. You can. How? Right click on your application. Manage applications. Advanced settings. See the first. What is it? What is the pool? Click here. Choose your poll. What's your poll? Changed off. Refresh. Count change na. If you want to see the applications running under an application poll, if you want to see the applications running under an application poll, right click. View applications. Click on that. It will show you the applications running. See that? Root application. All these are running there. Are you clearer or not? Understood? And don't forget this point now. A new thing. What you know? Whenever you create a site, it will also create an application pool for that site. Did you understand me or not? Whenever you create a site, it will also create an application pool for that site now. See, you created 2 sites. Do you remember? What are the 2? NIT site 2, right? You have 2 application pools also there. See now, default website, MVC test project 3, site 1 are running under default app pool. MVC data transfer is running on my pool. NIT site 1 is running on NIT site 1 pool. NIT site 2 is running on NIT site 2 pool. So they're running on separate pools like this. Did you understand my point or not? Are you clearer till now? You'll have a doubt. Why are we running in the pool? I'll tell you. First, understand the concept first. Okay, we have a concept like application pool. Our application runs in the application pool. Now, every application pool is controlled. Every application pool is controlled by a component. Every application pool is controlled by a component called as worker process. Every application pool is controlled by a component called as worker process. Now you have 4 application pools, 4 worker process will be present. So what is this worker process, sir? The worker process is the one which is responsible to run your application. Did you understand or not? The worker process is the one which is responsible to run your application. Your applications are ran by the worker process actually. Did you catch my point or not? So every application will have one worker process. I'll show you a picture. Watch. I have 3 application pools, okay now? Every application pool has one worker process. And an application pool can have 1 or more applications in it. See, 1 and 3 has 1 application only, but 2 has. Right now we have 4 application pools in our IS. Yes or not? Now in this 3 are running one only, but 1 is running 3. Correct or not? Default is running 3, but remaining 3 are running 1. Okay now? So that is the worker process. And that worker process only will run your applications. That worker process only runs your application. Why I said all these particular things? Because already on the top, you understood this or not correctly. What is the first option? Read invoke once. This is a default option used for storing session values. And in this case, session value stored under the memory of. There your values are stored now under the worker process memory. To understand about this, first host your application on local IIS. Host your application on the local. I'm not telling you how to host. You already know that. I given the notes for that particular thing already. Okay, do it. And now here, what is IIS worker process? I given all the information like what is the IIS worker process. See, n number of applications can run for you under this. See, this is my personal PC on my home. And here I have a default website and so many applications under that. And I have only 1 application pool. What is that? 22 applications are running on that now. Did you get my point or not? In the classroom, first we saw 4, we shifted, now they became 3. So any number can run now. All these are controlled by one worker process. Understand here, application pool is like a classroom. All the applications are students in the classroom. The worker process is the teacher who is controlling all the students in the classroom now. There can be one student in the class or there can be n students in the class. Are you clear? Okay. So there are multiple classes, multiple worker process, multiple teachers. Here multiple application pools, multiple worker process. The worker process is nothing but an exe file. It's a exe file, and the name of the exe file is w3wp.exe. What is the name? w3wp.exe. All of you observe. You can find it also. Where you find it? Task Manager. Open the Task Manager on your computer. And here go to Details section. And in the Details section, you will be finding that not there. Just a minute. Not running, that's all. Not there means nothing is running, that's all. Just open a browser once. HTTP localhost. Any request to send, guys. Okay. Check yourself. Got it? Running. Which one is running, sir? 4 are there. Clearer? What is running? The default app pool is running. Why? I sent a request for default website only. HTTP localhost with default website na. So what is running? So if I send a request to our MVC data transfer project, will it run my pool now? Let's see. Let's see now. Now see, guys, what are running on? Run. Come on. What's it? Home. Index 10. Index 10. Anything here. No props. Index 10. Passing some value. 101. Some product name. And price. Something. Anything. Just hit it. Just to send a request to server here. That's all. Okay, now? Check. 2w3, 2wp.exe are there. One is my pool. One is the default app. Are you clear? And try running the 2 sites also. Array, the 2 sites also. Okay, how to run the first one? HTTP localhost :90 / login.html. The request went to NIT site 1. It went to NIT site 1. NIT site 1. We'll try NIT site 2 also. How to send to NIT site 2? Domain name should change now. What is the domain name, guys? nitsite.com only, I think. nitsite.com. Clear? Yes or not? So every application pool has a worker process, and that worker process is only responsible to run your application. Tomorrow, Suddenly, your application is not running properly or anything going wrong, not responding. What we do, we come and kill the worker process. Hey, your Visual Studio is not responding. What do you do? You go to Task Manager and kill now. Same thing only. What to kill now? Worker process should be killed. Your web application is not responding. There's something going on wrong. So what to do? Kill the worker process. So what will happen? It is restarted. It is restarted. It gets restarted again. Are you guys clearer or not? Okay, if that is killed, what will happen? It is going to be restarted. Automatically, it is restarted for you. So that's way what this is. Means tomorrow when you start working in the real time, understand this point. What compulsory, every application should run on a different worker process. That's a rule. Every application should run on a different worker process. Have 10 applications, sir. Then run on 10 separate worker processes. Don't try to run on one worker process. Why? Because tomorrow there is a problem in one application and I have killed my worker process, and that effect will be on all the 10 applications now. Are one making a mistake and 9 you're killing it. How right is it, you think now? Yes or not? So that's what is the correct process? Every application run on a separate worker process. If you run it like this tomorrow, if any application has a problem, kill the worker process, automatically the application gets restarted. And that doesn't have any impact on other applications. That is why we run them on separate application pools now. Is it clear? Okay. So always the correct architecture is one application pool, one application, and one worker process associated to it. Multiple can run, but tomorrow problems will start here. So that's why go for separate. Are you clear? 300 people, 400 people sitting in a classroom and one teacher controlling, not possible. So what is the thought? Let's divide. Every 100 students, one class, and have a teacher in each class now. Got it? Huh? Yeah. So what is the worker process? Read it. Remember this point here. Application pool is the heart of a web application. That is the center point. That is the core. That is important. That is the heart of your web application. And by default, under IES, all web applications comes under the same application pool which is created when IES is installed. What is that? Default app pool. To check that, open, and in the left-hand side under connections panel, we'll find and sites option, select, which displays a default app pool on the right-hand side. You'll see the default app pool on the right-hand side. And here, guys, I have only one app pool and 22 applications are running. So you understood the problem now? I'll kill the worker process for a problem in one application. 21 applications will be killed off now. All 22 will restart. All 22 are restarting now. Okay. Next. Notice above there are 22 applications on the server running under, and it is still possible to run each web application under a separate application pool, which enables us to isolate, separate our web application for better security, reliability, and availability. Therefore, problems in one application pool do not affect websites or applications in other application pools. Okay, whenever a new site is created under IES, it will also create a under which the new site runs. The name of the application pool will be same as. You can see that information, guys. What I mean is, when you're creating only, you will see. I did not teach you all these things earlier when I'm creating. But guys, watch it. Right click on a site, add website. Watch here. By default, what it has taken? Okay, I'm calling it as NIT site 3. See there, application pool is also changed now. I did not touch that. That is automatically changing. Means it is creating. And guys, watch it. You're adding an application now. You're adding a application. When you're adding an application, then also. But see, that won't change. This is my test application. That is not changing. Means it is created on default Apple only. Clear? And create a virtual directory. Right. Add virtual directory. See there. No application pool. Means where is it running? It is running under default app pool only. Tomorrow, can I shift it somewhere? You cannot. That will run on default app pool only. And you cannot change this at all. This cannot be changed. Okay? Yeah. Next. We can also create our own application pools under IIS. And to do that, right click on under connections panel and select, which opens a window asking for a name. Enter name as my pool and click OK. Currently, the new application, that is my pool, doesn't have any applications running under it. And if we want our application to run under my pool, then right click on our application under default website. What is our application? MVC data transfer. Don't forget MVC, and choose manage application, advanced settings, which opens the window, and in that select application pool and click on the button beside it, which opens another window listing all the available application pools. All the application pools that are available in a drop down list. Select my pool and click OK and OK again. Two windows will be there. Close it. The IIS worker process is a Windows process. What is the name? Which runs web applications and is responsible for handling requests sent to a web server for a specific application pool. Each application pool creates at least one instance of W3 WP.exe, and that is responsible for processing application request and sending back response to client. All ASP.NET functionalities run within the scope of this worker process. And this picture will tell you about the worker process inside the application pool. Is that clear, guys? Next. Under Task Manager, which displays a separate IIS worker process for each application pool. To get the exact details, go to details section in the Task Manager, and there we find W3 WP.exe, and beside that will display the application pool to which the we'll see the application pool name now. Okay, note. In proc session mode, session values are stored under the memory that is associated with who runs our. So in this case, if we recycle, what is recycle? What is recycle? Killing here, just now I said you. End task, you right click and say end task, that is called as recycling. We call it recycling. Why recycling? What about recycling in English? Generally, recycle means again using. Here also recycle a worker process. It will immediately restart again. It will immediately restart off again. Are you clear? Means once you recycle, what happens? It is stopping. All the memory is destroyed. Again, restarts. Freshly restarted. That's why you call recycle. The IIS worker process, all the session value that are stored under this will be destroyed. And to test that, open, identify the IIS worker process under which our web application is running, select it and click on end task button, which will destroy all the session values associated with that application. Shall we try that? Come on, guys, watch. This web.config, first we have reset. Let me change up. Array, changed up. So what is the time now? 20 minutes. It is going to be 20 minutes now. Okay. Once run. Guys, listen this, and don't run from studio. Don't run from studio. Why? if you run from studio, the problem is once you recycle the worker process, it will close up the browser. Just I'm showing you that only. Watch. Home, index 10. I'm running from studio, guys. I'm running from studio. Yeah, open. And now go to task manager. Identify the worker process. My pool. This one, right click and task. When I click on end task, immediately end process and the browser is closed off. The browser is closed off. See, the project got stopped. See, you're in start again. Otherwise, it will show you red button, end button. Start means project is stopped off. That's what I'm telling you. Don't run from browser. Sorry, don't run from studio. Don't run from studio. How do you run, sir? Directly open the browser and type the URL. And it is IES. No need studio to run. IES will be running 24/7 now. Send the request. Open now. Refresh. Refresh is going to give you the values, right? Now come to again. See that is recycled. Restarted of the again. Yes or not? Right click and task and end process. The browser is not closed, guys. Watch. Refresh. Values are lost. Why? Application pool memory. You restarted. Once you restarted, what will happen? All the values are destroyed. That only I was telling you here. You can once again read this note. All the session values that are stored under this will be destroyed. That only I showed you. You killed it, all are destroyed. So did you understand what is in proc now? In proc means stored under worker process memory. Stored under worker process. What is the worker process? Worker process is the core component which runs our application, and these worker process associated with a application pool. What is an application pool? Application pool is a container, and mainly I said you're the heart of your web application. It's a container under which all your applications will run, and that is an important thing. That is a very, very important thing. See, guys, managing IES, that is one of the toughest job. What I was showing you basically. Generally, no one will tell you about how to just deal with IES. So mainly I'm focusing on the appropriate thing. Earlier I showed you creating sites, changing domain names, how to do all the appropriate things. Now I'm dealing with application pools, the core concept of the appropriate thing. Application pools, how to create these application pools, run them on the application pools, all these things. Okay, practice them carefully. Are you clear? First, be in the admin mode to do all these particular things. Clear? Fine. Second option, state server. Second option is state server. First option is, second option, state server. What the state server is a simple thing here. Very simple. State server is a separate software. State server is a separate software. It's a separate software where the session values are stored. So tomorrow, if you recycle the worker process also, data is not lost. Did you catch my point or not? If you recycle the worker process also, the data is not lost. Why is it not lost? You're not storing under the memory of the worker process. Where are you storing that? In a separate software. See, tomorrow you store your data in a database and restart the application. Is the data lost? No, data is safe. Why? It's in a persistent storage. Where? Under the database. Same way, we are storing our data right now under a separate software, and that is called as state server. So do I need to install it, sir? No need. When you install the Visual Studio on your machine, or when you install the .NET framework on your machine, you install Visual Studio framework is installed now. When you install the Visual Studio or when you install the framework on your machine, the state server software is already installed on your machine. So it is available on your machine. You don't require to install it separately. Did you catch my point? Where do I find it? You find it in the services window. On your computer, you're aware of services. On your computer, you'll be having a window, you'll be having a window called as services window. Here only you will find your SQL server. They all will be there only. Okay, what is that? Services. Okay, try that. Search for services. Services app. Open it. This is the services window. And you will find your SQL server and all here only. Yeah. The server is running. Tomorrow you can stop it from here. Okay, fine. Now here only you'll be finding, guys, what? You'll find it. See there. State service. That is basically a software that is already installed on your machine. Okay, you can check it out. That's already installed on your machine. So you can store the data here. If you store the data here, what happens? Even you restart your worker process also, nothing happens to my data. Nothing happens to my data. But how to store here, sir? How to store? If I want to store here, what should I do? If you want to store here, step 1, start the service first. Start the service first. How to start? See, the service is not running now. Right click, start. If you want to start it every day, along with your OS, double click on this. What is the startup type value? That is why I am starting here. But if I change this as automatic, along with my OS, it will start up now. I don't require to start. See, I'm not changing it. Just to see, your SQL server is. That is why you don't start SQL server any day. When you start your PC, SQL server starts. When you start your PC, automatically SQL server is going to start over there. Is it clear, all of you? Okay, so that's fine. So now let us start our state server. ASP. Right click, start. Running. Okay, now come to your project and the web.config. Array, just we use in what is it? Session state. And here we used one attribute now. What is it? Timeout. Suppose I'm setting the timeout test in. Here only we have another attribute called as to connect with the database. You write a connection string now. Same now, but this is not for connecting to SQL server or Oracle now. It is to connect with. The name is called state connection string. It is called as state connection string. You require to use the state connection string, and actually it runs on TCP/IP protocol, not on HTTP. It runs on TCP/IP. You should write TCP/IP is equals to. IP is equals to the name of the machine. Where is it running? The name of the machine. Where is it running? It's running on local machine only, Then local host only. Server name, man. Number of times I talk about server name. Server name is always your machine name. Understood? You can give your machine name or local host also. Okay. And one more thing, remember, we already discussed about this in the earlier classes. Every server runs on a unique logical address called as core. Right? SQL server runs on port number 1433. Oracle runs on port number 1521. IS runs on port number 80. You can also run on your own ports. We talked about all these things in the previous classes. And this runs on the port number 42424. Port number 42424. So this is what you're required to enter. What's it? The address. Tomorrow, if it is on a remote computer, write the name of the remote server there. Are you clear? If it runs on the remote computer, write the name of the remote computer there. Port number is 142424. Understood? Run. Once. Okay, again, same here. You should run from browser directly. Don't run from studio. If you run from studio, again, same problem repeats. Run from browser. But oh, we did not close that. See, whenever you're trying to run directly from the browser, see, generally you run from here, automatically project is built. Am I correct? But you make changes, open the browser and run. These changes won't affect it. So don't forget to build the projects. When you directly run, whenever you make a change, what you do? Build the project. How? Right click, build. You learned in C# classes now to build a project. Right click and build a project. Now open the browser and you can just run it directly from the browser. What is that, guys? HTTP localhost. Oh, I did not change the mode. I'm sorry, guys. I forgot. One more attribute is required. You're required to write here mode is equals. Default mode is in proc here. I forgot. Okay, so change to state server. Three things. Sorry, first one is not important here. Ignore the timeout. I'll remove the timeout. Don't bother about the timeout. Mode equal to state connection string, address of the server. Address of the server. Okay. Yeah. Again, I made a change. So let me rebuild. Open the browser. Come on. The URL is ready. Let's hit enter. Oh, wrong. Port number came there. HTTP localhost. What's it? This one. This is the URL. MVC data transfer and this page. Okay. Hit enter. Got it. Refresh. Data is not lost. Correct? Come on. Let us open the worker process. They basically, if you're not using them, the apples are also killed. Automatically they'll stop. Unnecessary waste of memory. Na. 2 apples stopped off. What? NIT site 1 and NIT site 2 are also stopped up there. Okay. Right click and task and process. After doing this, you came to your browser and refreshed. What happened earlier? All became null, right? Refresh. Your data is not lost. Watch it out. And click on the page. It is okay. The URL there is taking localhost. We need to change that. Forget about it. But see, I'm not losing the data. Why, sir? The data is on state server. Data is not on in proc. It's not on in proc. Where it went? State server. If this data has to be killed off, you need to restart the state server now. Are you clear? Try that. Open services. To prove you, it is present here. It is present here. I am restarting the server. Okay. Restart. And your data is lost. Refresh. Data is lost. Is that clear? So 2 options I shown you now. What are the 2? I did not show anything especially about inproc. Default is inproc only. Second option, state server. Third one is SQL. I'll tell you because SQL means you need to create database, tables, a lot of things you need to do first. Directly you cannot store on the SQL. But these two are clear. Okay, try these two first. We'll see the next option next. Let's stop here. We'll meet on Monday. Okay.